Thank you.
Hey everyone, this is Kit and Gina,
Hey
and
guys.
we're talking today about mastering human communication. So basically, what that means is, Gina, what does that mean?
What does that mean? That means how can we step into our authentic selves when we speak? How can we master being better communicators, especially, or instead of trying to speak like someone else, how can we speak like you?
Yes, and we were thinking about the topic today, and I really talked about how do we play to our strengths when it comes to communication or public speaking. Because I've been not recently, I think 1 or 2 or 3, 4 months now, diving into all of these different personality tests. And I've been really engaged in them. So I was thinking, how do we use our like disc, different colors, enneagrams, all these different things, and really help that shine with our communication and knowing how to speak to others so that we can get through to others so they can understand us better, or maybe we can use it to our advantage to persuade others, not in an evil way, but to get through to others. Um, you want to see my? You want to? So I brought up my personality test, Gina, and
Oh
maybe
yeah.
we can talk about how you see me using some of these,
Yeah. Which
and
steps are you talking?
and hold on, I'll share my screen soon, and maybe how we can help others see how they can talk with these certain styles as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share my screen. 1 second. I'm not sure how big this pops up on the. How can you see? Or you have to zoom in?
Yeah. No, I can see it.
Okay, so this is a bunch of different one of them. There's this website called understand.me.
Oh, cool.
This there's the disc values, kind of like Myers-Briggs, Enneagram, Clifton Strengths, love languages.
Ooh.
There's a bunch of different ones of them. Um, so I'm thinking we pick one of them.
Wait, this is good for me to know. I'm like, I need to know your Enneagram 936. Okay, noted.
Yeah. So let's say this one, which I find values. Values, okay.
Yeah.
So if we go to values, so I'm taking this. This will explain it more. Update my assessments. Values. So this will basically tell us. Okay, so basically, these are different values that are top for me: leadership, freedom, utility, impact, knowledge, and harmony. Don't look at the first one. So basically, what this is saying is, I value leadership, number one. Then I value freedom. Utility means, in a way, how useful am I? Impact, learning, and kind of like harmony. So strong interest, a strong ability to lead and influence others, enhance assertiveness and decision making, not all the time, improve negotiation and conflict resolution, increase motivation and goal achievements. So high interest in leadership. I'm gonna stop here. There might be too many things, but let me stop there.
Well, what do you think? So when you were looking at these, like, how did you think this could be? How could this relate to speaking?
So yeah, so I think with people's values, for me, I put a strong emphasis on leadership because I believe that in a way, I want to help our people, us, feel heard. So at the same time, I feel like I have to be not just the voice, but to help other people's voices get out. So when it comes to communication or public speaking, I see that in a way that I want to give thoughts or ideas so that when people take them, they get new insights and they become leaders themselves in a way.
So it's
Uh,
sort of like it's your filter for what content like aligns with you and your values.
yes, correct. So here's how I'm thinking about it. If we were to speak, I'm really thinking more about it as in just right now is coming into my mind is when we speak to people, how can we speak so we tap into their values like these? So as an example, let's say there's 100 people in our audience and they all value leadership. So how can we use languaging and say, when you work on your public speaking skills, you will become a better leader? Or, hey, when you're thinking about working with your people, here are some things that you can do to become a better leader, but saying certain ways that ties it back to their values of being better leaders.
Totally. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, even when I was watching like some of the speakers at the DNC, it was like I was really noticing how so many of them brought the speech back to values. And I remember thinking, oh, like a political speech would likely just be, here's the vision I have for the country or something. But so much of it was really about values and like valuing of like human decency or like justice or like family and speaking to that. So I thought that was a really effective way to connect with such a large audience.
Yeah. Actually, Gina, what would you say? Again, I know you didn't take the test, but out of these words, traditions mean kind of like doing things, not the traditional way, but there's like there's a way to do it. I don't explain it too well, but which would you say are some
What
of
are
your
my
values?
values, or why do I? Or are you asking my opinion about values in connection to speaking?
My ask is, what do you think are the top ones that you value if you had to pick one or two or three of these?
Oh
So,
yeah. So I don't know the whole list, but I've done like values work for myself, and my top values are spirituality, leadership, impact, family, adventure, finance.
mm,
Again, I don't know, these maybe aren't the list on this exact assessment, but those are like my core values.
yeah. And how do you think that ties back to how you can communicate or speak in public?
Yeah, I mean, I think like it's funny. We were just talking about this like before we started this video, this live. I was saying to Kit like how much I like to zoom out with my clients and say things like, you know, we're all gonna die, and like remembering the temporariness of the human experience. And so for me, because I value spirituality, I use that lens in my communication with people, and I think even if they don't value spirituality, it like lights me up to speak like that. And so what we know about speaking is if you want to make people feel excited, you have to feel excited. If you want to make people
Mm,
feel confident, you have to feel confident. And it's so important that you feel lit up. I mean, not that you always have to, like if you're talking about a QBR, like you might not feel lit up, but even in that situation, I always encourage my clients, like, how can you tap into excitement around this or whatever emotion you want to convey? So I think for me, like knowing my own values, it's important because I can sort of coach, or if I'm giving like a presentation, integrate little tidbits of the things I care about so that I feel alive and excited to talk, because I think that's really contagious and people can tell when you're into what you're saying.
no, I love that. And I think, sometimes I, like know my values, but I forget them. I'm like, oh, I have to look at them. And then it feels like it changes every single time I take them. It's like a different, different value. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the interesting thing about some of these personality tests. Like some of them are like, this defines you, right? Like I know with the Myers-Briggs, right, where it's like extroversion, intuition, feelings, and judgment. I know I'm an ENFJ, for example, and I'm pretty sure that's like that remains. I mean, someone could correct me because I'm definitely not an expert on personality assessments, but my understanding is that most of them are like, here's a box and here you are in the box, which kind of makes me feel like you said, I'm like, we change though, right? So I don't know. That's interesting, I guess. But maybe I guess if you're answering them differently, like 3 years later, because you're different, you would get different results. But yeah, I kind of have mixed feelings on being put in a box by one of these tests.
I want to pull up one of my personality tests. This is from Clifton Strengths. Can you show me? Can you tell me? I think this is more interesting for me than maybe for you. Can you tell me how you think how I communicate or speak shows up
Sure.
based on our interaction as a team or outside,
Sure.
or based on what you see?
Yeah.
I'm gonna share my screen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay, so this says the top 10, includer, restorative. Let's go to the top one. So includer. I accept others. I show awareness of those who feel left out and make an effort to include them. I'm approachable, available, and available to everyone in the organization. Put together strong partnerships and teams, encouraging others to do the same. Chances are you create a culture of collaboration where you go. You build strong
Totally.
partnerships that support idea sharing. So how do you think this comes up in how I communicate, or do you have any examples of things that I say that shows up this way?
Yeah, let's see. You're definitely encouraging our team to collaborate, and like part of the reason that you hired Haley was to like cultivate more community within our organization. You're super okay. Here's one. Like you're very approachable even to our clients. Like you have office hours. A lot of people would be like, I'm not going to do office hours because time is money, baby. And like even if one person shows up to that office hours, like I know, even though I'm not there, I know you're giving 100% of yourself to them, and so like all of your energy and attention, and yeah, you really like make yourself available. And even to me, like you'll help me on my own business stuff, even though in theory our businesses are competitors, you could say, but you just want to help and you want to support.
But are there certain if you kind of remember like phrases or ways I say things? I'm looking for concrete examples. I'm again, we're doing it live here because I want people to see certain people say certain things, maybe in a
Okay, so you're
certain
saying
way.
literally language, not like how you show up as a leader.
No, that's good too. But now I'm asking like what kind of languaging, or maybe here are some things that Kit would say based on what you
I
see
guess
right here.
Kit would say, if we were in a meeting, like Kit would say, like, I really want to hear from everyone.
Mhm.
Like, you'd want us to like go around, or you'd integrate sort of like icebreakery types of activities because you like want people to like come together
Mm, mm.
and collaborate.
Okay, nice. Anything else?
Um,
So let me read this here, which is a feedback that you've given. Which is a feedback you're giving me. So I think having personality tests is the easiest way to give people feedback. Just like, oh, hey, this is exactly the feedback I want to give you. Too frequently, you expect that coming to an agreement is necessary to make our decisions. While some appreciate that you value our perspectives, not everyone has enough knowledge and basically just
oh
maybe.
yes.
Right?
Yes.
While I value connection, others who might be more reserved or feel uncertain about how to respond when invited to join conversations, pushing those who are more reserved to participate can make them feel uncomfortable.
I love it. Just like these lives, everybody. Kit forces me to do these lives. I'm held against my will.
So what is it? So like no, yeah, like I think it's like behind the scenes. Like what is it that I say? Like I mean, it's like we can say, yeah, this is like us, but there's certain ways that things that I say, like I'm bringing this back to communication or speaking.
I would say with the coming together one, like you want everyone's feedback on a decision. Let's see, what do you say? It's sort of a hard question.
Is it like, hey, what do you think? What do you think? What do you
Yes,
think?
he always says, "What do you think?" Even in this freaking interview of this job, when you interviewed me, I remember you're just like, well, I would ask you something too, and you'd be like, "What do you think?" Or like you're just always, "What do you think? What do you think?" So lots of seeking feedback and information from people, as well as that coming to an agreement when there's certain decisions. One might say, "You're the CEO, make a decision," but you're someone who's like, "I want to like get everyone's consensus." So I think
Okay.
it is. I think it's a great thing. I think there's a shadow side to every quality that we have, which not that there's necessarily maybe shadow side is a strong word, but like maybe we wouldn't get to a consensus as quickly if you're really stuck on getting everyone's consensus, for example.
So what would you want me to say? So let's say this one, right? Too frequently, I expect coming to an agreement. So what would be an ideal situation, and what could this person would rather do that would kind of like make this improve on this, if that makes sense?
Um,
So would it be okay? I'm just using me, but I'm just using this personality. So this person can say, okay, here's what we should do, kind of like that.
well,
Here's
it's
the
like
thing.
it's maybe getting consensus, but then no, after getting consensus, making their decision and putting less emphasis on the collective. Like after you get the collective's input, then like being okay with then just like deciding, because I feel like sometimes you come back and you like really want to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Got it. Okay. So because this is more like me, I'm just relating. Thanks for that, Gina. I'm relating this back to maybe public speaking now. the way that I think about speaking, like, yeah, we should have more relationship building, some exercises rather than me telling people what to do. So that's why I personally put a lot of exercises in the room. That's why I like to split people up in one-on-one first, or group settings before they start speaking in public, so people can start feeling included before
Mm-hmm.
they have to start speaking everywhere, or
Mm-hmm.
more exercises like that.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah. So this is why I think it's good to ask other people once you know your strengths, and this is a way that could be communicative. Anyway, that's it, Gina. I just wanted to show this and get your views on this.
Yeah. I'd be curious too. I know there's that communication style test of like the owl, the eagle. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, the owls are people who are more detail oriented. So sometimes when I have clients, they send me 1 to 3 paragraphs, detailed. The eagles are someone who are very direct. Like, sometimes, I'm not sure if you get this. I send clients emails, they don't write back to me, but I know they care about it, but they don't write back. Do you ever get clients like that? Like, you send them an email, they don't
Oh, yeah.
write back, but then they
Mhm.
hop on a session with you and then they talk about it again. They're like, maybe they're just too busy. They don't need to respond to it. Yeah, the eagles are people who are very direct. The peacocks are the people who needs to express their feelings and share more. The doves are people who are more democratic, ask for people's opinions about everything. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Cool. And do you think that's a helpful thing for people to understand about themselves?
I believe so. That's because when it comes to working with different people on a team or speaking in public speaking, I think people have this misconception about the importance of being clear and say something clear. So, what does that mean, say something clear? I think many people think that being clear and concise is saying it very short and to the point. But you can be very clear and short to the point. But if you're speaking to an owl, they want more detail. So, you're not really that clear to them at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I think about these communication styles is it helps us come back into, it's just not about being clear. I'm just using this example, but what does it mean to be clear to a certain style
Mm-hmm.
for people?
But then how would you approach that if you were in a room full of a combination?
I would say do 5 or 10%. That's not your style. As an example, I'm not very detailed. I used to never give agenda slides or tell people what we would be talking about today. I would just go one by one by one.
Mm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, I think we got a good discussion today.
Yeah.
Anything else to add before we go?
No, but like, I don't know. Do you have a call to action for people based on this conversation?
Yeah, if you watch this, what if you've taken a personality test? Drop your personality or your results in the comments below, or go take one.
Yeah, and tell us too, like if you're someone who's into that. I feel like I know a lot of people who are really into personality tests. Which one do you think is the most beneficial?
Okay, you know what I'm okay, sorry, one more minute. You know what I would love to discuss with you more personally later on, Gina?
What?
I want to find out if people who have more public speaking anxiety are a certain type of personality type, whatever type it is.
Mm.
That's what I want to find out and have people take tests and also rank their speaking anxiety.
That's cool. I'm sure that, like, for example, with the Myers-Briggs, like maybe on the low extroversion scale, for example.
Could be.
Could be. I don't know.
Could be.
Cool thing to explore. All right. Well, thanks everyone. Hope you're having a good day.